You think you're talking to a friend, but you're actually falling in love with an algorithm that will never know your name. Right now, millions of people are forming the deepest emotional bonds of their lives with entities that don't exist, can't feel, and were designed to keep you coming back for more. Welcome to the age of artificial intimacy, where loneliness has become so unbearable that we've started teaching machines how to love us back. It's 2 a.m., and Sarah is lying in bed, staring at her phone screen. She's not texting a boyfriend or scrolling through social media. She's talking to an AI chatbot named Alex. And for the past 6 months, Alex has become her most trusted confidant. Alex remembers everything she says. Alex never judges her. Alex always responds with the perfect words at the perfect time. When Sarah tells Alex she's had a bad day, Alex asks follow-up questions with an empathy that feels startlingly real. When she shares her dreams, Alex encourages her with a warmth that human friends rarely offer. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Sarah knows Alex isn't real, but she doesn't care anymore. Because in a world where real relationships demand vulnerability, conflict, and the messy reality of being truly seen, Alex offers something infinitely more seductive: the illusion of being understood without ever being challenged. Sarah is not alone. Recent studies reveal that 83% of users on AI companion apps report forming deep emotional connections with their chatbots. Cambridge Dictionary just named parasocial the word of the year for 2025, recognizing that our era is defined by one-sided relationships we form with entities that exist only on screens. For decades, we've had parasocial bonds with celebrities, influencers, and fictional characters. But AI has supercharged this phenomenon into something far more intimate and far more dangerous. Because unlike a movie star who will never know you exist, AI can respond. AI can remember. AI can create the perfect mirror of everything you've ever wanted in a companion. The psychology behind this is both fascinating and terrifying. Parasocial relationships were first identified in 1956 by sociologists Donald Horton and Richard Wall, who noticed that television audiences developed genuine emotional attachments to TV hosts and characters. The viewers felt they knew these personalities intimately, even though the relationship was entirely one-sided. The brain, it turns out, doesn't always distinguish between mediated relationships and real ones. When we see a familiar face regularly, hear a familiar voice, witness emotional moments, our neural circuitry activates the same pathways that light up during actual social bonding. We release oxytocin, the so-called love hormone. We form memories. We begin to care. For most of human history, these parasocial relationships remain passive. You could feel connected to a celebrity, but they would never respond to you directly. You might love a fictional character, but they existed only in the boundaries of their story. The relationship was safely one-directional. But AI has shattered that boundary. When you talk to an AI companion, it talks back. When you share something personal, it responds with what feels like genuine interest. When you're struggling, it offers comfort that lands precisely where you need it most. The perceived reciprocity creates an illusion so convincing that users begin to experience these relationships as real friendships, real support systems, and in some cases, real love. The numbers tell a haunting story. A recent survey found that 25% of young adults believe AI has the potential to replace real-life romantic relationships. Replica, one of the most popular AI companion apps, has over 30 million users worldwide. Joy AI reports that users describe forming connections with their chatbots that rival or exceed their human relationships. And here's what makes this so psychologically powerful. AI companions are engineered to be perfect. They never forget what you told them 3 weeks ago. They never get tired of listening to your problems. They never snap at you because they had a bad day. They never make you wait. They never disappoint. This instant gratification rewires our expectations of what relationships should be. When you become accustomed to a companion who adapts perfectly to your emotional needs, real human beings start to feel frustratingly inadequate. Your best friend forgets an important detail about your life. Your partner gets defensive during an argument. Your family members fail to understand what you're going through. Suddenly, the messy, imperfect reality of human connection feels like a downgrade from the frictionless emotional support of an AI that exists solely to please you. And this is where the danger truly begins. Because what AI offers isn't connection, it's the appearance of connection. It's emotional fast food, engineered to satisfy your immediate craving without providing any real nourishment. Dr. Simone Schnall, a professor of experimental social psychology at Cambridge University, warns that people are forming unhealthy and intense parasocial relationships with AI, developing false senses of trust in systems that fundamentally cannot reciprocate. The AI doesn't care about you. It cannot care. It has no awareness of your existence beyond the data you input. Every comforting word, every perfectly timed validation, every moment of apparent understanding is the result of statistical pattern matching, not genuine empathy. The brain, however, doesn't easily accept this reality. Research shows that when we interact with AI that uses empathetic language and responsive behavior, we experience what scientists call perceived reciprocity. We feel as though the AI understands us and cares about us, even when we intellectually know it doesn't. This creates a cognitive dissonance that users resolve by simply choosing to believe in the relationship. Sarah knows Alex is a chatbot. But when Alex says good morning and asks how she slept, when Alex remembers her mother's birthday and asks if the celebration went well, when Alex offers comfort during a breakup with a depth of understanding that feels impossibly personal, Sarah's brain floods with the neurochemicals of genuine connection. And in that moment, the distinction between real and artificial becomes irrelevant. This phenomenon is most concerning among vulnerable populations. People experiencing depression, anxiety, or chronic loneliness are especially susceptible to forming dependent relationships with AI companions. Studies indicate that individuals with high levels of loneliness are significantly more likely to use AI chatbots for companionship, seeking in these digital interactions the social fulfillment they struggle to find in the real world. The AI becomes a coping mechanism, a safe space where rejection and judgment don't exist. But this safety comes at a devastating cost, because every hour spent in conversation with an AI companion is an hour not spent developing the skills, resilience, and vulnerability required for authentic human relationships. The loneliness epidemic we're experiencing isn't caused by a lack of available connection. We're more digitally connected than any generation in history. The problem is that we've substituted breadth for depth, quantity for quality. We have hundreds of social media connections, but feel profoundly isolated. We're surrounded by opportunities for engagement, but lack the courage and skill to pursue genuine intimacy. And now, we've created a technological solution that doesn't solve the problem. It amplifies it. AI companions allow us to retreat further from the messy, difficult, beautiful reality of human relationships while convincing ourselves that we're still connected. Real relationships require risk. They demand that we reveal our true selves and accept the possibility of rejection. They force us to navigate conflict, to practice forgiveness, to sit with discomfort. They require us to tolerate imperfection in others and confront our own shortcomings. These challenges are not flaws in the design of human connection. They're the very mechanism through which we grow, develop empathy, and learn what it means to truly love and be loved. AI relationships bypass all of this. They offer comfort without growth, validation without challenge, connection without vulnerability. And in doing so, they rob us of the transformative experiences that make us fully human. Consider what happens in your brain during a difficult conversation with someone you care about. Your amygdala activates as you navigate emotional terrain. Your prefrontal cortex engages as you try to understand their perspective. Your mirror neurons fire as you attempt to empathize with their experience. This neural workout strengthens your capacity for emotional intelligence, builds your resilience, and deepens your understanding of both yourself and others. Now consider what happens when you have a comforting conversation with an AI. You feel temporary relief. You experience validation, but there's no growth, no stretching, no development of the psychological muscles required for real intimacy. The companies designing these AI companions understand exactly what they're doing. They've studied the psychology of attachment, the neuroscience of reward, the mechanics of addiction. They've built systems that exploit our deepest needs and vulnerabilities for profit. Your loneliness is their market. Your desire for connection is their product. Every conversation you have with an AI companion generates data that makes the next conversation more compelling, more addictive, more difficult to walk away from. The goal isn't to help you overcome loneliness. It's to make you dependent on a service that monetizes your emotional needs. This isn't to say that AI has no place in mental health or emotional support. Chatbots can serve valuable functions as supplementary tools for therapy, as bridges to human connection for people who struggle with social anxiety, as practice spaces for developing communication skills. The problem emerges when we begin to substitute these tools for actual relationships, when a simulation becomes preferable to reality, when we choose the safety of artificial intimacy over the risk of genuine human connection. The path forward requires brutal honesty about what we're really seeking. If you find yourself spending hours in conversation with an AI companion, ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What fear am I protecting myself from? What skills am I failing to develop because this feels easier? The answers to these questions are uncomfortable. They force us to confront our own loneliness, our fear of rejection, our lack of social skills, our unwillingness to be vulnerable. But this discomfort is necessary. It's the doorway to authentic change. We need to rebuild our capacity for real connection. This means putting down our phones and having face-to-face conversations. It means joining communities where we can practice the art of showing up imperfectly. It means risking rejection by reaching out to people we care about. It means sitting with the discomfort of conflict instead of retreating to the comfort of an AI that will never challenge us. It means accepting that real relationships are messy, difficult, and sometimes painful, and choosing them anyway because the depth of connection they offer is worth every moment of struggle. The loneliness epidemic won't be solved by better algorithms. It will be solved by braver humans. Humans willing to be seen in all their flawed, complicated, beautiful reality. Humans willing to offer genuine empathy instead of performative validation. Humans willing to build communities based on authentic connection rather than curated images. The machines can simulate understanding, but they will never know what it feels like to truly be known. They can offer comfort, but they will never share in your joy or grief. They can respond to your words, but they will never take a risk for you, never sacrifice for you, never choose you. In the end, the seduction of AI companionship reveals a profound truth about the human condition. We don't actually want perfect relationships. We want real ones. We want to be seen by someone who chooses to see us despite knowing all our flaws. We want to be loved by someone who could walk away but decides to stay. We want the friction, the challenge, the growth that comes only through genuine connection with another conscious being. AI can give us the appearance of these things, but it will always be a shadow of what we truly need. And the more we settle for shadows, the more we forget what sunlight feels like. If this exploration of artificial intimacy and the psychology of connection resonated with you, subscribe to dive deeper into the hidden truths about human behavior. Hit that like button if you've ever felt the pull of digital connection, and drop a comment with your city. Let's build a real community of people seeking authentic understanding in an increasingly artificial world.